The force of magic does not reside in things. It resides within man and can escape only through his voice. So it's what we say, what comes up. What comes up? It comes up by itself. You can't even catch your own words. You don't know what the next one's going to be. And that's the frightening part about it, because it's full of risk. You're on a tightrope when you're talking. You know, they called it slips of the tongue. The fact that we don't fall off more often is amazing, because you don't know how the next one's going to come out. And that's the magic. That's what makes you afraid to stand up and talk. It makes me afraid to talk in public, is you don't know what magic's going to emerge from that spot. And you don't control it. Unless, of course, somebody writes you a script and you read it.
When they do these polls, because they do a poll for everything now, so the poll goes out, what are you the most afraid of? And when they list the things, in America at least, the thing that people are most afraid of by far is speaking in public. And I say the reason is because the truth might come out.
Yep.
That's what the fear is. The fear isn't that I'll say, that I'll lose the words or I'll say something stupid. I think the fear is the truth might come out. We all experience that. Because, you know, in Africa they say, if you're going to tell the truth, you better have a horse by the door. People hate the truth, you know. One of the definitions of modern culture is a culture without formal initiation. And one of the characteristics of initiation is I don't know where I am. When we know where we are, we're not working on an initiation. When we know where we are, we're working on our status. Our known comparison to other people. One of the clues to initiation is I don't know where I am.
And, of course, we want to get away from that as much as we can. I mean, who wants to live at odds with circumstance? That feeling of being out of it is a crucial piece to keep in mind all the time. At least a piece has to always feel you don't know where you are. Because then there's no risk. And you can just join the members of the security structure. National security. I mean, you know, keeping everything in order.
Uncertainty and predictability is a guarantee for growing further into a state of initiation. So to know ahead what we're going to get into prior to getting into it, it's to simply say silently to ourselves that, in fact, we don't want it. You see?
That's a very important thing that has to do with the living the life of risk in some way, not just in what you're going to say next, but in the whole question of not knowing, no predictability. Because when you live risk, there is a certain generosity with your life. I don't know how that works, but there's a certain generosity. And when you live for security, a certain paranoid meanness comes in. You have to protect yourself. You have to keep the thing going. You have to have it in order. In some way, walls get built. You are guarded. And this open, risky thing doesn't mean some kind of just puer adventure. Oh, yeah, let's try it. It's a question of being in what you say, not knowing.
That's right.
And that makes things... there is some generosity with that.
Yes.
In a psychology of the economics we live in, which is a psychology of scarcity, we always think we have something to lose. It's built into consumptionism. It's built into the way we live our lives. We have something to lose. You've got to have a pension. You've got to have insurance. You've got to have health insurance. You can be ripped off. Your house has to have locks. The whole thing. And the scarcity makes you feel always ungenerous because you're self-protective. And the thing that is involved in that always is to keep out risk. Keep out all they're called dangers.
Well, there's an important thing there that we have to be aware of, that we got to lose, is the fear of losing. And 3 weeks ago, first, I was talking to one of the elders in the village. I was trying to explain why in America they have insurances. With insurance, you prevent anything from ever happening, because when it happens, you're taken care of, you know. So a catastrophe that occurred and I eventually covered doesn't actually permit the person who is going through that to gain anything because the whole insurance is a system of prevention from anybody to experience anything at all. You see? See?
That's good. And that's true. You're thinking about the claim rather than mourning the tragedy that just happened. Yeah.
Because the juice is in the tragedy. You know, your home burnt down to the ground. Well, you're away somewhere and you come back. Gee, that's where it is. It's not about going to the insurance office the next day to file a claim. You know, so there's the opportunity to grow in the ash that you find your own house turned into. And of course, if you cannot leave that as an opportunity, then there is indeed a problem about really getting to the other side of the tragedy, or getting to the other side of the tense.
What's trying to be ensured is the status quo. Initiation has to do with radically changing something forever.
Right.
Insurance has to do with keeping as much as possible the same forever. So insurance is a guard against an initiatory experience.
That's right.
The Irish called it the other world. They said it's right next to this world. And it's just like this world, except everything in it is more extreme. And you can step into it at any time without knowing that you stepped into it.
Right.
Anthropologically, it's called initiation. But the idea is that we are moved into another world, a world where, in fact, we are not who we are in a regular life. It's the world of ritual, it's the world of mystery, it's the world of spirit, it's the world of soul. It's all of the other world, all that is denied in the daily world, all that is fended off through order and insurance and certainty. The other world's a world of ambiguity.